Benelli M2. But Sean, don't you already have an M4? Yes, I do. And a Vinci Pro. And a Vinci Pro. Those are our bird guns. So suffice it to say, I really like Benelli. I have had the M2 before. I stupidly sold mine years back. So I got another one. Lord only knows what'll happen with 1639. So I got good pricing on an M2 and decided to go for it. Okay, going into the box, we have a packaging sticker and good lord. That is one hell of a manual. God. So all of that, it's a whole bunch of different languages, but every single photo is color. Kind of a testament to Benelli's quality. We get a choke tube wrench, and they give us a, this is, oh, okay, just modified. So this is meant for steel shot. I just run open, if I'm being completely honest. This is 1 star, so this would be your full choke. Benelli oil. This comes with pretty much every single Benelli that you will buy. I've never used it, to be honest. I always kind of default to either Slip 2000 or Geisley's Go Juice, my 2 favorite lubes. But for assembly, this one I'm actually going to use this. We get a barrel / magazine tube coupler. Inertia driven systems. So those of you guys who don't know Benelli lingo, basically what that means is gas is all basically outside the chamber of your gun. I have shot the bejesus out of my M4. And I have never once cleaned it, if I'm being honest with you. I cleaned the ARGO system once, and that was when I was having malfunctions out of the box. But that was something that was my fault, and I don't care to share what I did wrong, because I'm never at fault. So the ARGO system was messing up on my M4, but that was 100% my fault. Absolutely nothing wrong with my gun at all. So here's our frame. Make sure we got everything out of the box we did. Get that out of the way. So I try to save and collect these. Never put those back on your barrel, by the way. I did this on an H2O version of the M4. I put it back on. And there must have been moisture under this little sleeve. And I left it on there for probably a week or two, and I pulled it off and there was actually rust accumulation, ironically enough, on the H2O. So breaking into the bag, this to me looks very, very similar, come on, to my M4, but with obviously a different stock. I have the telescoping, I think it's 4 or 6 position on my M4. Yeah. They give us a sling swivel. That's the whole gun swivels. Even though it is red, I have forgotten it before. And you would think that would be a pure idiot move, but I've done it. Not saying I'm the brightest, but make sure that goes far away. So on your guys' version, you might just have a cap here. You might not have this extra extended tube. If you do, I'm sorry. So sling, swivel. I hate saying that. Turns out, I hate saying that. The sling, swivel. It's the last time I'm going to say that. There's a notch there. A notch there. And a notch there. So you can run it however you want. I always have mine pointing straight down. I'm really OCD about everything, and I just found it easier to just give in to the default position and call it a day. So assembly with this. So to get the barrel on, we unfortunately have to take this magazine tube back off. We're going to be extremely careful because there is a really... Ow! Gah! Oh, insert Peter Griffin monologue. Jesus. So that cracked me in the knee, and that was just the spring. Fuck! If that hit you in the face, yeah, that would have been bad. So as I was saying, be really careful because that thing is under a hell of a lot of tension. God, that hurt. Make sure I didn't lose my magazine end tube. So on the end of these tubes, because you don't have a cap, you have this little, let me actually tap to focus, this little dick tube thing that looks like a follower that you would mistake as a follower and think that you were missing something. But you're not. It's in there. So that is the end of your magazine tube. Most of you guys would end up basically with just this as your end cap, and it screws on like that, and that's the end of your bottom tube. This being the law enforcement only model obviously has the extended magazine. So how the hell did I do it? I think it's sideways, question mark? Nope, it's not it either. And so we'll get that started. Get my tube. Son of a... How about this? To make the most sense of this, we're going to stick this on the barrel itself. Sure, that looks about right. And slide this on as one unit. Is that going to work? Is it going to work? Maybe? It's a shotgun. Go ahead and use force, you know? It's a very expensive shotgun, but a shotgun nonetheless. Okay, I'm just gonna slam it on the ground and close that gap up, make sure everything looks right, and it does. This feels like the start of a viral video. So I'm just stuffing the bejesus out of this magazine tube with as much spring as I can. And I wear glasses, but you know, you should probably wear safety glasses. Okay, so the trick here is making sure that you're not binding your spring. Oh God, please don't kill me. And I have to remember to myself that... Okay, I'm gonna stop talking. Fuck. God! So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna tilt this up and stuff the magazine tube up, and I'm gonna be holding it like this. And then I'll come back when it's assembled. But I'm leaving the camera rolling. If I cry, I want you guys to know that I'm an actual real human. Alright, so I got the magazine tube. Hot! So I got one thread started. So now it's a game of holding the swivel and spinning this tube, and then occasionally pushing on the end of your magazine tube to make sure that that spring isn't getting bound up. So watch as I twist. It'll catch and then untwist itself. Of course, it's not going to do it now. There we go. Okay. So I'm spinning this. We're just pushing it in, letting it spin on my finger. It's hollow in the end. So I'm pushing my finger in there and letting the spring slip, well, counterclockwise on my finger. And then we know once we get to the part where it starts ratcheting, which I'm already past, but you can hear it. We get to the clicky part, we know that we are nearing completion. So small side up, big side down, and then we just go Small side over the muzzle, big side over the magazine tube, and you can see on the magazine tube itself it has a recessed portion where that's supposed to go. And I'm just going to hand tighten this for now. Okay, that's as tight as I'm getting it by hand. Alright, so, feels weird. The factory charging handle is tiny. Here we go. In my opinion, this is kind of like the staple of all good semi-automatic tactical shotguns. So with the M2, how does it beat the M4? Well, the M4 is kind of like, you know, the ultimate in badassery as far as shotguns go. I wasn't missing a shell when I came down here, so remind me to find that, would you? I don't know. You got the ARGO system, you got everything else going on with it, but as far as everything else goes, other than saying that you have a Benelli M4, everywhere that it really honestly matters, the difference between an M2 or an M4, I would say negligible at best. Mine's got an oversized charging handle, I have a side saddle, I have the telescoping stock, I have the, I guess it would be a tri-rail, not really a quad rail if it doesn't have a top. And I mean that's it. Benelli M4 just out of the box is a badass gun, but so is the M2. So if you see an M4 for, I don't know how much they are, $1,400–$1,500 question mark, or you see an M2 for $1,200–$1,300 and you're wondering, is it worth it? Yeah, I would say it is. So military and law enforcement use the M2 more than the M4, and I think that's because of price. If I'm being completely honest, I think it's honestly it just comes down to the price of the gun. So with that said, I will say that the M2 is kind of more readily available for aftermarket parts to turn this into whatever you want to do with it. If you wanted to buy an M2 for doing 3-gun competitions, they sell a lot more parts as far as magazine tubes, fore-end, stocks, etc. Designated for the M2, though those parts would also fit on the M4. We have a different barrel lug on the M4, it's a lot more robust. And in my opinion, if you buy an M4, just leave it a damn M4. Don't turn it into anything else. If you buy an M2, turn it into whatever you want. I'm just realizing now they have decided to throw a choke tube in there for me. See what they gave us from the factory. Improved cylinder. Some people say that these shoot slugs flatter, so the threads inside the barrel are really, really shallow threads, and if you don't run a tube, you are going to strip those threads off, or you could just choose to run no choke tube ever, and you know, just live your life. But I don't want to destroy the inside of my barrel, so I'm going to put the, again making sure, improved cylinder. So this is just a little bit tighter than normal, just open cylinder. And again, some people say that it makes, slugs shoot flatter. I've never shot slugs past 100 yards, so I couldn't really tell you. And I've never really shot, actually no, I've never ever shot a shotgun with anything magnified on it, so it's as good as I could possibly get hits at 100 yards with just a peep sight, which, you know, I can hit a 6 or 7 inch steel plate at 100. That's good enough for me. You know, I don't need my groups to be any tighter than that. So long as it's the size of a human torso, I'm going to call it good. So the Benelli M2, is it better than the M4? No. Is the M4 better than the M2? Again, the ARGO system, it is more robust. If you look at the solder joints on everything else, they're a lot more firm. And you can see that the solder joint on the barrel itself is actually all the way at the end. You don't have a coupler holding everything together. That said, the M2 is a hell of a lot lighter. My plans for the M2 are actually, I was thinking about designating this one for less lethal for work. You know, most of the less lethal ammunition isn't really strong enough to cycle actions anyways, though on a Benelli, I'd be willing to bet it would run because it's just so incredibly smooth. And again, this is almost exactly the same action. So this runs birdshot just fine. These are the Vinci Pros. Black one is my wife's, and multicam is mine. So, see that? That was pretty cool. So overall, Benelli M2 versus M4, I'm not going to get into that debate. This is lighter. If that is worth anything to you, I personally don't give a shit. I expect a shotgun to be heavy. So, again, the M4 is considerably more robust. If we look at the barrel, it's designed to have a long magazine tube. If we look at the barrel here, it's just there's more points where everything is being held together, a lot more material holding things together. Again, the ARGO system is just great. It's great. But I would bet my life on either. So if you're looking for a semi-auto shotgun, I would tell you don't unless you're buying a Benelli. That's not being brand biased. I've shot the JM Pros. I own a JM Pro. I own a few other semi-autos. I own a couple of Berettas. And another one escapes me as to who makes it. I've never once had a malfunction out of my M4, even shooting 2 3/4 inch birdshot after I fixed what I fucked up the first time that I assembled it. So the malfunctions that I was having initially were 100% my fault, not the gun's fault. After that, not a single malfunction. I'm sure that the same will hold true with the M2. Both are amazing choices. If you can find the M4 for a couple $100 more, go with the M4. If you find that you are wanting to build a 3-gun or a race gun shotgun, I would say go M2. Again, magazine tubes and all that other stuff, this being a lighter gun, and the fact that this doesn't have proprietary long magazine tubes that are made by Benelli. I don't know if anyone actually makes a 3-gun magazine tube for the M4. This is usually the modified one that's turned into a race gun. So, M2, absolute awesome gun. I might do a shooting video of this, I don't know. I plan on shooting it today. Might take the camera, or I might just edit this, upload it, and go about my day. Suffice it to say, an M2 is going to run great, an M4 is going to run great. Just depends on what you're doing with it. If it's going to stay a tactical shotgun, M4. If you're planning on doing multiple things, M2. Again, just my 2 cents. Love you guys. See you in the next one.